This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to the program. I'm Roby Brock. Thanks for joining us. I am joined this morning by Randy Zook. He is the president and CEO of the Arkansas State Chamber of Commerce and the Associated Industries of Arkansas. I'm the only person on the planet that puts both of your titles in there. So it's good. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Let's talk about Trump's tariff and trade wars. He has initiated activity with China, Mexico, Canada, the European Union, pretty much everywhere, all around the world right here. You guys, through the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, released a report that said that Arkansas could be impacted by $339 million from retaliatory tariffs. Why are we doing this, Randy?
You know, that's the question of the day in Washington and other capitals around the world. Why in the world has the United States decided to pick on everybody else, including our friends? And frankly, you know, we're taking a lot of this at this point, sticking with him on faith, because there's no question that trade practices are out of whack. There's no question that the United States gets rookie dude, that's a technical term.
From McGee, I think.
Yeah, from McGee. Gets a rookie dude on every corner in trade relationships. Our products pay high tariffs going into other markets. Our intellectual property is stolen at will by Chinese manufacturers. I mean, we are just the world's piñata in terms of trade practices. And I admire and appreciate his efforts to try to correct this. I think it's a matter of pace, though. There's only so much you can do. But he's in a hurry, and he's a deal maker, and you know, we're hopeful that somebody else blinks before we do.
It seems chaotic to me. There just doesn't seem to be hey, here's the systematic way that we're going to approach, and we're going to do this. And I think that that's part of the reason why there is some of the chaos that exists there. You saw the U.S. Senate this week issue
the Senate's reprimanding him.
Pretty bipartisan consensus there. I think it was non-binding, but the threat of a binding resolution exists there too.
There's some real pain coming, mainly initially from the ag sector.
Yeah.
Our soybean farmers, I mean, you know, you've seen about a 20% drop in soybean prices in just the last 30 days. So that's pretty painful when you're in a tight margin business already.
Yeah. Who else is winning and who else is losing?
Well, I mean, clearly the steel guys are winning. I mean, this has been the genesis of the whole thing. Chinese steel dumping practices. They spent a gajillion dollars, another technical term, a gajillion dollars on adding excess capacity to their steelmaking industry and started dumping it all over the world, and they just clobbered the U.S. steel business, among others. So everybody's trying to play catch up on steel prices, and these prices are working their way already through the economy for manufacturers who buy steel for all kinds of products, from appliances to autos to trailers to everything, lawnmowers, everything
bigger
else you can
infrastructure projects,
and bridges and other things. So steel is kind of the vanguard of the price wave coming through the economy, but other products are going to follow in its wake.
Tell me your wishful thinking of how you hope this whole situation lands. What's the end result that you think is a win-win for the U.S. economy, for the Arkansas economy?
Fairer trade practices, some of the tariffs and prohibitions of products that exist in some of the international markets, where we would have more access to markets with less tariffs or taxes imposed on our products. That would be ideal. I mean, opening up, for instance, the U.S. auto product to the European auto market. We have a 2.5% tariff on Mercedes or BMWs or whatever, Volvos or whatever produced in Europe, but they've got a 25% tariff on our Cadillacs or Fords or other products. Now, we also have, to be fair, we impose a 25% tariff on light trucks. So we kind of talk out of both sides of our mouths sometimes, and that's the problem with trade practices. It's very complex. It's very specific. We've got wire manufacturers, Beckart and Tokuson and Kisswire, important manufacturing companies for us, who are clobbered by some of these steel tariffs and changes in practice.
Are you worried that this trade war is going to disrupt the Arkansas-China connection? Because we've seen a lot of location of facilities here from China, at least announcements. We've seen that. Do you think that that could be disruptive? Because that's about personal relationships.
Yeah, well, let me give a lot of credit to the governor and the AEDC, Mike Preston, his staff, and others. They are on top of this as much as can possibly be done. They're trying to make sure that those deals are not disrupted. But at the end of the day, the fact is any Chinese company is an agent or an arm of the Chinese government, and trade policy is played out one company, one business, one plant, one deal at a time. And so keep our fingers crossed. At this point, there's no indication that any of those deals are going to do anything but move ahead, but let's be aware and make sure we do everything we can to protect them. And I give the governor enormous credit for stepping in directly with the Trump administration and waving his hand. He just got put on the Council of Governors, which is going to give him a lot more, a bigger megaphone in Washington, and that's a great thing.
Let's shift our attention to issue 1. This is commonly referred to as the Tort Reform Amendment. I don't know what new word you might come up with on this one, but just for viewers, just to recap real quickly, it caps contingency fees in civil actions, caps punitive damages, it caps some non-economic damages. It allows the legislature to adopt rules of pleading practice and procedure, which controls the judiciary kind of rules there. A lawsuit comes out this week.
Yep.
Basically alleging that this is combining too many different parts of the Constitution into one particular constitutional amendment proposal. What's your response to the lawsuit, and what do you think of the argument of the lawsuit?
Well, the first response is no big surprise. We knew there would be every possible avenue of challenge exploited by the folks that are passionate about this, the trial lawyers, the plaintiffs' lawyers. We think it's a meritless suit. We think the court will not trump or try to slam dunk the legislature by avoiding or taking off the ballot this proposal for civil justice reform. Every one of these arguments that they put forth, these chicken little arguments that the world is going to end and maybe reverse its global axis if we pass this. But all of these measures are very common across the United States. These are simply common sense reformed.
All right, he's Randy Zook. He's with the Arkansas State Chamber of Commerce, Associated Industries of Arkansas. Always good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you for coming around.
Thank you.
All right. We're back with more right after this.